Ash Wednesday is the traditional beginning of the Lenten season. For the last 1,400 years, believers in Jesus around the world have commemorated the season known as Lent, a 40-day period that reminds us of Jesus' 40 days of fasting in the wilderness prior to beginning his ministry. It has been a time when the intention was for everyone to focus in on all that the Lord Jesus has done to secure our salvation. Unfortunately, what has often happened is that Lent has become more a tradition than a truly spiritual experience. For many people, Lent has been defined by what they give up for the season. I remember as a kid saying I wanted to give up lima beans for Lent. I will mention that as an adult, I have maintained that fast for decades. But I'd like to propose something very radical. And that is that instead of giving up something for Lent, instead of subtracting from our lives, may I suggest an addition, adding something for Lent. Here are some suggestions. The first, read through the 4 Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and the book of Acts. They are the most exciting, life-changing books ever written. By the way, those 4 Gospels and the book of Acts together contain a grand total of 117 chapters. If you read 3 chapters a day for the 40 days of Lent, and by the way, that doesn't count the Sundays, you get Sunday off. So if you read 3 chapters a day from Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, and Acts, by the time the Lenten season is over, by the time we are celebrating the resurrection of Jesus, you will have read Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, and Acts. Powerful, life-changing books. Let me propose a second possibility, and that is to read the entire New Testament. Now that may sound like an overly ambitious goal, but it's not as difficult as it may sound. The entire New Testament contains a grand total of 260 chapters. And that simply means this: if you read 6.5 chapters a day, or approximately 8 pages a day in this Bible, it means that by the time the Lenten season is over, you will have read all 27 books of the New Testament. Those books have changed the lives of millions of people. They changed my life. And in them, God speaks to us today. Now, if you are bold for a real challenge, let me float this one. And that is to read the entire Bible in the 40 days of Lent. Again, that may sound like an impossibility, but it's not as impossible as it seems. If you are a regular TV watcher, consider this. Give up an hour and a half of TV every night and read the Bible instead. And in an hour and a half a night for 40 days, the average reader can read through the entire Bible, all 66 books. Now, maybe you're saying to yourself, oh, but Chris, I tried reading the Bible once and I didn't understand so much of it. I just gave up. Well, let me suggest another possibility. Instead of giving up TV, substitute video. And here's the video I'd like to suggest to you. Go to the Awake Us Now website, and there you will see a class listed. That class, a 53-week class, goes through the basic teachings of the Bible from Genesis to Revelation. And if you watch it for about an hour and 20 minutes a day, you will be able to go through every one of those classes, and by the time Lent is over, you will have a far deeper understanding of the message of the Scriptures than you ever had before. Check it out. Because, dear friends, ultimately, Lent is not about giving up things. Lent is about meeting with the living God. And He is a God who changes everything. And His desire is to bring divine change into your life and into mine.